All right. So this is from Trippy Chris. TRPY. I'm pretty sure that means Trippy. The way it's spelled. Trippy Chris. He has 50,000 subscribers. Um, going on. Yeah, he has 50,000 subscribers. It says more unhinged horror series that you haven't heard of. So this is gonna be a set of horror anime or mangas that he's gonna recommend that you probably have never heard of, probably have or haven't, and all that great stuff. So let's jump into it.
Factor makes it
Let's stop these stupid commercials. Always trying to be a death of me.
My channel is supposed to highlight some underrated and upcoming horror series that no one really talks about. And there are a lot of series that I
I'm
wish
not
I
gonna
could
lie.
cover
You know what?
sooner
I'm not even
instead of.
gonna do this. Let me see. Is this something that Dan Dead Tube, Mori, and okay, these look like okay. I've never heard these before.
Waiting
Except Dan.
4 to 6 weeks to talk about. So, I made an
Okay.
unhinged horror series video where we go over some of the upcoming series, and since y'all really liked the last one, here are some more unhinged horror series that y'all have never heard of. If you see a series that you think should be on this list, then scroll down and go ahead and tell me your favorite unhinged horror series.
But if you guys want to see more anime content like this one, then why not go down and hit that subscribe button?
And if y'all want another unhinged horror series video like this, then let's get this video to 3K likes. Also, we are hosting a massive voting poll for the month of December. Starting right now, you can vote for whatever horror content that you want me to cover in the future. So that means movies, TV shows, SCP, analog horror, YouTube video game, anything. Just anything related to horror. When you click the link in the description below, there will be a horror media poll to see what kind of horror media you guys like. Then you'll have 3 entries
All
to
right, get
put
to the
down.
point.
Okay, so I might be cheating here a bit, but Dandaran is one of the most fun series I have ever read and watched in a very long time. It has an amazing blend of comedy, action, school life drama, and of course, the scary imagery and moments. For those of you who have never heard of this series, it's about Momo Asae and Okurun striking up a unique friendship over ghosts and aliens. However, Asae doesn't believe in aliens and Okurun doesn't believe in ghosts. So they both go out to try to prove each other wrong. This sparks up a young love story between them while they're getting hunted down by horny spirits and aliens. I would consider Dandaran horror the same way something like JJK or Attack on Titan is horror. It's filled with extremely creative and creepy monster designs while it
I
still
want
has
to call it more. I wouldn't call it horror. I will call it action horror because it's half action it but horror depictions. I think that makes more sense. Calling it just horror kind of is misleading because I only consider horror when the characters are like pretty much like in a situation where they can't really defend themselves in a way they can. When they get superpowers and stuff, I think it kind of defeats the purpose. I would call something like JJK, Chainsaw Man, um, I guess you can even say Bleach, uh, as well. They actually have terms for it in manga or at least in anime. They call them exorcist type anime or manga because they're more exorcising demons and ghosts and stuff. And then I don't think they actually have like exorcise spirits yet. They don't feel like that way. Um, More like they just fight spirits and aliens and stuff. But since there's aliens and not just focus on spirits, I think it should be just called action horror or action horror sci-fi, or is that action sci-fi horror? There we go. Action sci-fi horror. That makes more sense.
a lot of comedy and
I don't
drama.
think it should be just
I
horror.
still think it deserves a spot on this list just for how amazing this series has been. The best part about this series are the characters and the really wacky scenarios that the two main characters get into. And with more characters being added within each arc, the characters just become more enjoyable and fun to watch. Both the manga and the anime are amazing, and by the time this video drops, the last episode has already been released, so if you want to start reading after the anime, you can always start at the chapter on screen. So even though this series isn't super hardcore, gory, or overly horrifying, I still think that it's worth the read to anybody that likes anime and manga in general. After God is an action-packed horror series about Japan getting invaded by gods. Tokyo has been declared a danger zone and has been tightly sealed off from the public. Anyone who takes a glance at the gods would die from how beautiful they are. The series follows Tokunagi, a researcher guarding the fences so no one crosses over and dies from the gods. He meets up with Waka, a girl who went to Tokyo to try to find her friend. Together, their fate will change the outcome of the entire world as they figure out how to get rid of these massive gods. The series is, like I said, very action-packed, kind of a mix of Jujutsu Kaisen with its fighting and the world building of like a creature mixed with a starving anonymous Ri to an extent. While at first it is a bit confusing and kind of uninteresting, after the first chapter it does get a lot better and more fleshed out, but sadly there aren't a lot of chapters in English, but if you can read Portuguese or Vietnamese, then I highly recommend the read and make up your own opinion. But for what there is out there in English, I still think it's pretty good and worth the read. DeadTube is the series that I will never make a standalone video on. DeadTube is a extremely gory, extremely sexual horror series about a teenage boy named Machiya getting a request to film a girl named Mashiro for 3 days straight. And the catch is that he can't ever stop recording. Eventually, it turns out that he's filming snuff films of Mashiro murdering people and posting it on DeadTube to get views and make money. So basically,
Wow.
just killing people and then posting the
That's
video on
terrible.
Live Leak. While Machiya says that he hates it, in reality, he actually finds it very arousing, as the rest of the series is just them filming more and more videos, with every arc turning more gory, more sexual, and just fully messed up. It's the infamous series that everyone wants me to cover, but YouTube would absolutely hate me for making this video. It really is truly disgusting, disturbing, and like I said, extremely sexual to the point where it's pretty much just porn, and also torture porn. The series is not for the faint of heart, and it is one of those series that I kind of actually regret reading because of how messed up and so sexual it is. So, if you think you have the guts for it, then go ahead and read it on your own.
Isn't it the worst when you're surfing online, shopping, searching for a recipe, or just mindlessly scrolling,
Okay,
but
there
pesky
you
ads
go.
keep popping up? Pi offers the perfect solution. Pi
Omori is well known as the popular psychological horror game from 2020. The manga adaptation with the same name is made by Nuo Kononito and the game company Omocat. The story follows Sunny, a teenage boy who hasn't left his house in 4 years, living in his own little world after an incident. Hoping for a fresh start for her son, his mother decides to move their family out of town. However, when his childhood friend re-enters his life, Sunny finds himself thrust back into the world that he once knew. With only 3 days before the move, the duo come across familiar faces as they go through town, reawakening a dark past that Sunny has tried so hard to forget about. The manga is telling the story of the game. Now, I haven't really finished the game, but the manga does start off differently and follows the narrative more straightforward compared to the game. I will say that the video game is a lot better just due to the creepiness and interactive aspect of it. However, the manga has some beautiful art, some really creepy imagery, and of course a tragic story that keeps us at the edge of our seats. If you've never played the game before, I highly recommend both the game and the manga, and if you've already played the game, I also highly recommend the manga to just see a really cool perspective on this story. N is a mystery anthology series of different tragic cases. Some cases like 5 missing junior high schoolers to an entire elementary school massacre, all related due to the letter N left behind at each crime scene. An urban legend circulates suggesting that the N is related to a religious group thought to have collapsed 2,000 years ago. But what does the N actually mean? I love this series. It reminds me a lot of PTSD Radio, not just because it's an anthology series, but also with its religious themes and really creepy imagery. It's not a series that revolves around a set of characters like Scooby-Doo, but instead revolving around a religious group that prays to this evil god. It's an interesting mystery, and seeing how all of the chapters kind of connect in a way is really cool. They do have some cool spirit designs, but most of the horror isn't even from monsters or gods, but just the messed up situations that are happening. It only has 9 chapters out right now, and since each chapter are named after letters, I'm guessing there's going to be around 25 to 26 chapters, so it's best to catch this series while it's still young. And speaking of anthology series,
co.casterlabs.caffeinated.app.docs.chat.viewer.
The Urban Legend Files is an anthology series following Mokume joining a university for their
Thank you.
occult club, where they find urban legends and cryptids. However, the club hasn't really been the same since
well.
one
Are
of
we
their
doing well?
members, Kugutsu, left. Kugutsu would attract urban legends left and right, similar to what Mokume can do. So, she tries to convince him to come back to the club with some coupons and some money. The first chapter they go after the slit-mouth woman. The chapters after that follow the same 2 main characters and the rest of the club members trying to find other Japanese urban legends. While it is horror, the series is mainly a comedy, but you guys know that I love a really good anthology series, and especially one based on urban legends and cryptids, so this series was just an automatic favorite of mine. The only complaint I do have is that we don't really know much about the urban legends. Like, I wish they gave them a bit of a backstory to
We're
like the
doing a
slit.
reaction on anime stuff right now. So far we're doing a reaction on these. What is this thing not charging? Doing reaction on. There we go. Doing a reaction on these animes that these mangas that we are doing on. So I said that 3 times from other creators and giving our opinions, or at least stopping it just to give how we feel about it so far.
Mouth woman before we actually saw her, but they could fix that in later chapters, so it's not really that big a deal. It's also brand new. It's only 4 chapters in as of recording this, so you could basically binge the whole thing in under an hour or 2. Plus, it is free on Manga Shueisha. The only thing that sucks is that I'm really dying to read some more chapters. H.P. Lovecraft is, without a doubt, the most influential but also genre-defying authors in the horror scene. Edgar Allan Poe was the master of building up suspense and scares, but H.P. Lovecraft was just the master of unhinged, terrifying monsters and lore, focusing on the weird, unexplained phenomenon that seems so far-fetched and out of this world, mainly about human beings subjected to powerful cosmic beings. His concepts became so unhinged, similar works would be considered Lovecraftian horror. While many knew his name and the creatures that he created, not a lot of people actually read his work, let alone even tried to imagine what his work was like. So, in 2005, Go Tanabe was introduced to H.P. Lovecraft's Call of Cthulhu, and by 2007, adapted one of his stories into manga. His career became known for adapting and drawing most of H.P. Lovecraft's work and showing the new generation the insane mind of Lovecraft through manga. Stories like The Shadow over Innsmouth, At the Mountains of Madness, and Lovecraft's most famous work, The Call of Cthulhu. His art is amazing, the dialogue isn't Old English, and the designs of the characters and monsters are really well done. While Tanabe doesn't just adapt Lovecraft stories, he's well known for it, and I would love to read more of his work. Maybe later in 2025 you'll even see me cover one of these series. Hint hint. Now the last and weirdest entry on this list has to go to Her Face at the Witching Hour, made by the creator of Beastars, so you already know it's gonna be really weird. It's about a wife named Megumi Sano who isn't sexually satisfied with her husband, Yuji Sano. Megumi also seems
What? These names. Megami. Yuji. Sano. Sano. What the hell? These are 3 names from like Jesus Christ.
to have a strong spiritual presence. One night, while having sex, Megami suddenly sees a ghost. However, the humiliation of being seen having boring sex overweighs her fear. The ghost would visit her every night
Let me
in
guess.
the
She's
bathroom,
gonna get
but
aroused by
for
it.
what purpose? Well, spoiler alert, she's basically cheating on her husband with a ghost. The series is brand new with only 3 chapters so far, so there's not really much to spoil since the story is just starting out, but it is very weird, very suggestive, and has some very similarities to the author's one-shot Drip Drip. The reaction to this series was very mixed, with even some fans worrying about the author's sex life. I didn't like the sexual parts of this series, but the mangaka has said that the first 3 chapters were mainly focused on the erotic parts. However, the series wants to focus more on the actual story than the erotic stuff later on. The actual story they're telling is about the wife feeling unhappy and feeling conflicted about cheating. Is like kind of interesting to say the least, but the whole cheating on my husband with a ghost part is, I think, a little too weird. Maybe weird enough for you guys to even enjoy. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If there is a series that you think should have been on this list, then let me know in the comments below. Remember to join the Discord server and to vote on our massive voting poll for December. Both links will be in the description below. And if you want more horror manga videos like this one, then why not scroll down and hit that subscribe button. But I'll be seeing you guys in the next video.
Alright, so that's the final video for today for when it comes to anime stuff. I hope you guys enjoy this. Like, share, follow, and comment. Give Trippy Chris a follow. I'll put his information in descriptions like I do with all of the creators who do recommendations, so they get the shine they deserve, and they do a great job at what they do. So with that said, like, share, follow, and comment. I'll see you guys in the next one.